Today is a Q&A day and I ask you to ask me questions, whatever you would like to know about the backstage of Eurovision, something about me, whatsoever you were free to ask, and I will ask all your questions which I casted on my YouTube channel and also on Twitter. Let's talk. What's up everyone, it's Jan Bors, new video, and I just wanted to say this, what's up everyone, a new video. Just ask you also for subscription, ask you for... I need to also, this is too loud, oh my god. Ask you for subscriptions, ask you for likes, ask you for becoming a mentor or consider it because it comes with some benefits. And those I will try to do and more, of course for you. But today I really would like to ask some of your questions through something different. I was very curious what might be in your head, what maybe your struggle, and maybe use my knowledge of background of Eurovision, creating it, preparing it and whatsoever. So I will go step by step, every single questions. Of course, just a disclaimer, I think there was one question about budgets, money. I of course at some points cannot be that concrete based to NDA, also professionality and so on, but at least I will try to do my best to give you as much as possible relevant informations I can. So let's start with the question number one, which comes from Coxa Branca. Merci, thank you very much. In recent years, there has been overuse by some acts of pre-recorded backing vocals and their own vocals. What are the actual EB rules around this, and do juries take this into account? And B, have any additional insider knowledge about whose performance is more or less live? So this were always a question, even with pre-recorded, even with the backing singers, there is still kind of a mix how you can put it together that even the singer is a little bit weaker to overcome this issue by helping of the other ones. I think this is the normal concert thing also, and this is normal music thing. Like there will be never a rule, or it's very hard to find a very thin line between where it's still live and where it's not, how to cover it. So the rule, if I'm very correct, it's that the lead vocals must be sung live. No one really tells you how you should really overcome that, but that must be heard. And juries are not really considering such things, like the song works or it doesn't work. They like the vocals or they don't like the vocals. I think professional can still really find out in the shots it's live or not, but it depends on individual tastes, individual approach, individual ear. This is hard to tell. So I think this is one thing because I'm criticizing it, that without live back vocals we're losing more like a depth, we're losing a depth. Eurovision is becoming more and more just television show, which I think it's a little bit pity that we need to find a balance. And those years, those comparisons actually are helping us to say and give a feedback like, okay, this really works or this doesn't work. What are the strong sides of this pre-records? It's that it allows you to create better staging because it gives you much more space to manipulate. Of course, no one tells you also that you cannot use back vocals live. There's just 6 people limitation and that's it. So there is nothing like super concrete as far as I know. I think if it's crazy, for example, what I remember that when you must send songs and back vocals, everything with a specific format, and if there was something what doesn't really belong there, EBU finds it or their technical team finds it and say like you need to redo it because there is something we cannot allow. So there are some very specific little things which I remember from the past, which were applied to the fact that they were not allowed pre-recorded back vocals. Nowadays, it's different, and with difference, people are working, and of course, in my opinion, countries are creative about how to help the artist to sound better. And if it's correct or not, well, in my opinion, this is not really it, but from some producers, it's much more important the television outcome. My problem with this, and I agree with them at some point, but my problem is this, that if we will kill authenticity, we will also kill quality, and that means that me, even I cannot sing like a professional singer, can go there and they will make me be a singer, and I think this is not a correct approach for Eurovision itself, because it's a deadly, and the countries should also be very more serious about it. Like, if they want to create the business out of this much bigger, and I'm talking about the whole industry, you know, because Eurovision is a platform where they are sending the songs, but also the countries are like, hey, but we are also supporting our own music industry in our country. It's not just about Eurovision, it's much wider, bigger picture. Why should we send somebody who cannot sing? Like, what is the benefit out of it? We must be tough about it. We should produce, and we should help to produce or motivate people to be better and not worse. And this goes the opposite way. It goes the worst way. And then there is no value. And I will create a specific podcast just about how important value is. And this is part of it. I think this is a very important question you ask. Even I don't have a concrete answer, I can tell you that this is something what concerns me, which there are no thin line, and more artificial we will make it. Less and less quality we will, in human quality, we will be delivered, and after all, it will backfire us all. Next question. From Joshua Reduk, sorry if I don't write it correct. Joshua Reduk 4435. How often did you hear the Czech entry and thought, this is going to be tough, but I will make it work? I don't know if I understand it correctly, the question, but if you are talking about or asking about the time when I was head of delegation, we were lucky because we were choosing things we were believing in it. I always, I'm very passionate. I think my team, my ex-team, or any team I was working at, they know that I'm crazy passionate person about the projects, and I want everybody infused with the positivity that we can make it, because if you immediately apply in your head, there is no chance to pass through, you're lost. You're already lost, because I always counted with the fact that Czechia is really not in the center of attention. Czechia don't have neighbor voting friends. We don't have diasporas also, because Czechs don't really travel en masse from the country because the country works. So they don't have this need. And the thing is that we always said we must show or present or something to do to attract people without thinking where we are placed, who is with us in the semifinal. We just need to believe, and we need to learn, because you must imagine that the Czech television industry is not developed enough in compared to Sweden, for example. Like, we are like 10-15 years behind. That's also including Slovakia and some other eastern countries. This is just a fact. No one really developed it that fast, and it's not that competitive market in this, let's say, also technological way and also money-wise. But the thing is that we need to learn, we need to prove ourselves, and we will do it. And I always believed in it. That's also why I was very happy to create staging, for example, for Lake Malawi, because I believe that I can do something out of the box, something different, somebody what no one in here did. So I always believed, I always have a doubt in myself also, because you never know, but also in me, this inner fire was burning, and I believe that we can make it. Of course, if you refer to the other times when we did it, I struggled to believe that we will make it at some point, or I saw that there is much more, a better approach is needed, better force quality is needed. You must understand also that in Czech market, the competition, even it's kind of fierce in domestic market, no director, no one tells you do something wrong. Everybody is like, oh, you're perfect, you're amazing, you do great job, whatever. So no one really having a good, tough feedback. But at Eurovision, if you want to succeed, those skills from here are not enough, whether you're a star or not. You need to understand that you're going to much tougher competition, that finally the real competition, and just do maximum for you to shine if you want to succeed abroad. Because I think if you go to Eurovision, more likely it should be because you want to get out of your country your music to wider audience. This I think should be a goal for anybody, but it's up to anybody else also. So I will answer you this question like this. I don't know if it's a proper answer, but yes, I was struggling with those thoughts for sure, because there is always this positivity and also the, let's say, more realistic part, like, did I do maximum for it? could I help it more? Of course, you cannot imagine my crazy feedback I give to myself after any Eurovision, that I could do things better, and trust me, I could do things better. Like nowadays, if you pass time, like how to say, like put time back, I definitely would improve a lot of things, but this is not how it works, right? Next question from AR550K, AR50000, 50,000, who actually ask a lot of questions in here. Anyway, I will go step by step. What happens if a contestant damages their outfit just before or after? Are there people backstage to fix this quickly? Do you carry a spare outfit? Yes. We always had a spare outfit. We always had somebody who takes care of costumes, or at least a little bit, but we always have two, especially for this case that something will happen with the original one. We had like the rehearsal one, which was the same, and then the original one just for the big occasions, not to spill anything on it whatsoever. Of course, in any case something happens, there is a team at Eurovision backstage or with the producers, whatever, like always the combination of EBU and the hosting country, which teams basically it's their responsibility. There is always somebody who will help you or try to help you or try to find a solution, which is standard in most of shows like this. How and if at all, this is from Hanna Sahulova 4357, probably from Czech Republic. Hi, ahoy. How and if all are the participants of the competition of individual countries paid, for e.g. the Czech Republic, England, or on the other side Sweden, Norway, etc. What do the contestants have to pay for themselves? So this is very individual from country to country. Their budgeting, their philosophy. I know that in some countries this is the country pays the entry fee and gives know-how and support, but all the money, pre-parties and whatsoever, this tour, this marketing is on the side of the artist. At some countries it's a split, it's like a combination. It's like more paid by the country, less paid by the artist, and at some countries it's fully covered by the broadcaster. So it really depends. Of course, I cannot really comment in Czechia, but in Czechia we try to help a lot. So we gave know-how, we took care, for example, for stagings and so on. But if there was any additional cost which we couldn't afford, or just we wouldn't be able to answer to whoever taxpayer, or in Czech Republic the system is a little bit different, but the people who are paying the television, you must come with the answers, like why did you pay for it? And some you can justify, some you cannot simply justify, and it's always a way of communication. So it probably differs also every year, even for example in Czechia, but also some other countries have different kind of standards, values and possibilities. You must understand that public broadcasters, the system of public broadcasters in each country is different. Some are state-owned, some are really public independent broadcasters like in Czech Republic, or somehow kind of some other countries has different systems, more broadcasters and so on and so on. They have their own policies, they have their own systems, and they operate a little bit differently, but they must also be very careful about how they spend their money towards the public. It's logical. They're not commercial TVs who can spend money on whatever they want and decide. AR550,000. How much of the staging is included in the participation fee, and what bits do you have to pay extra for? So, I think I can answer this. Probably not super 100% accurate, but I will try to be as much as possible. So in the fee is everything kind of, but the extras are props. The extras are effects. So that means pyrotechnics, all pyrotechnics and all props. This is what you need to pay extra. You have two options. You can for pyrotechnics you need to pay the producers, and the costs are crazy. But and that's the reason why Czechia didn't really have them all the time, because it's just too much, or it always was, and I think this is a way to criticize. For the props, you have two options. You can make them yourself and deliver them, and then you need to take care of them completely because the responsibility is on your side. Or you can make the team, or you can let the team make them themselves with your standardization. You will do all the drawings and everything. You will explain what you want, how it should work, and whatsoever. They will create it. You will pay for it, and they take care of it. They are then responsible for its working, which is at least at some point better. But the costs are crazy, and this is what you need to pay. Of course, what you need or what you should pay, this is your all creativity. So your own graphic designer, stylist, somebody who's making the costume, and so on. This is on your side. Of course, if you don't do this, always the producers will create something for you, but then you have no control over it. So this is additional cost. But this is let's say staging itself clear without anything special whatsoever. This is on the side of the EBU or the broadcaster who's hosting the Eurovision. The rest, it's on you, kind of. But I don't know if it's still applying for year 2024. This is, I don't know. Michael Sennett 5375 asking, I'll keep it simple. Will you be there in Malmö? I won't. I don't have time. I cannot kind of afford it time wise to be there. Even I wish to be. And also from my perspective, a little bit, I'm still not there to feel myself as a Eurovision YouTuber fan. To go there, go on the party, be in this journalist section and whatsoever. I still feel myself, I belong to the bubble. This is it. I feel myself there as a producer director to be on this side, and for me it actually probably would be tearing my heart to see it from the side as just a viewer and cannot do anything about it. So although this was a huge step out of my comfort zone, but I'm glad I did it. Again, AR5, now everything else will be from AR5000, and then I will jump to Twitter. I think I have also a question over there, but those questions are nice. So it is easy for delegations to get the costumes and instruments there, even though they don't play them. Do things get lost in transit? Do you have the emergency shop? Yes. Do you have to do emergency shopping in the host country? So answer is it's standard when you're doing a production anywhere outside your own country. The shipping always it's normal. This is normal part of the production work. So this is happening. Can it get lost? Yes, it can get lost. So it's also insured, and also with some instrument it's not really easy. So for example, the drums I think we don't ship. We basically borrow them on the set or buy them as a prop somehow or something like this. And do we have the emergency shopping? Yes. This is also, you always need the thing about television projects. Probably doesn't matter which is there. You always need to have plan B, plan C, and even if you don't, there is always must be a solution in your head. What's gonna happen if? And there is no way around it. So there's always a solution for any kind of problem, always. Was anything particular stressful for you during the 2 weeks leading up the contest? Long hours, how it could be improved? So this is oh my god, this is individual, but for me personally it was stressful because I wanted to succeed. I want everything to be perfect, but also it comes with the relationships with the team and so on. This can be very, very tough and hardcore sometimes because everybody wants something else. Everybody questions everything. It's tough. Then your bosses call you and say like, how's the vacation? It's like, I'm not in the vacation because I need to deal with this. I need to be ready. I need to be sure. I need to communicate also with the EBU guys. I need to communicate with the host broadcaster guys. I need to communicate with my guys. I need to sort it out. All those little issues. Be prepared. Also give everybody the needed space. Make artists to feel comfortable. Be happy. This is all not easy. Of course, it's a teamwork. And you must find yourself there. It was always very stressful. Very, very stressful. On the way that it's a big pressure on your shoulders, and especially in Czechia, no one really trusts that you can make it all the time. This is like the weirdest thing we have here in Czech Republic, that you feel that no one really wants you to succeed after all. And But this is it. This is how it works. So it's very stressful. You must be very ready, and you must prove every day, every single person in the team that you know what you're doing, because they rely on you. And sometimes, they question this, which is also very, very, very stressful. And sometimes that happened to us many times, that people from the broadcaster comes and they try to question also you in front of the artist somehow, and then this is. But I think that every single head of delegation has this from their own country, that there is always somebody who questions their work, and this position. It's very underestimated by everybody. You cannot imagine the kind of amount of pressure, and in the middle of what you are, and it's not easy to manage. It's not easy to manage, really. And it's not about hours. You must be passionate. You can, for those 2 weeks you are there, you're working 24/7. Even if you don't work, you never know and in what point you're not working. And even if you decide not to work, it's still your free time. Come on, we are humans. Anyway, doesn't matter. Do they give you your big flag for opening ceremony, or does each country have to bring their own? Oh, I don't remember. I think we always brought our own, but I think in case of emergency they also have theirs. Yes, but we always brought flags with us, always. But I don't remember if this also was somehow a safety part. We always took our flag. Do they give you the big flag? But I think they give you. I think they need to have this emergency because they need to have the same type of flags. But now you're asking something I don't really remember. What would be your favorite interval acts, if any? Whew. Like, definitely is the first one I've ever seen myself live, and that was in Stockholm 2016, when there was this act when the robot danced with the guy. That was brilliant. For me, that was perfection. For me, this was perfection. I'm not too much into those super funny acts or something. I like when it has some edge, when it shows something unseen. Also last year, where also the You Will Never Walk Alone was very, very nice. That was very classical, but that one with the robots, that was brilliant for me. Like, that was amazingly brilliant idea, executed well, and I said, like, okay, this is completely different television than I'm used to. That was brilliant. What would be your favorite? Oh, this was selling. Were there any diva moments from other teams in general? Don't tell us who. First of all, I wouldn't tell you, and but of course there are. Come on, but in television production, this is normal. Like, all the stars, all the artists, they can become emotional. It depends, of course, on also their general behavior. Some of them are more divas, some of them are not at all. I don't like this kind of behavior, because also artists in general, they must understand that they are working with professionals. They know what they are doing. They should listen. They're there to perform. Other people are here to prepare them for performing. Of course, it's complicated because somebody is more like that, whatever. There are diva moments for sure, and I hate it. I must say, I personally hate it, because it's most of the time unnecessary. It's more like a show off, and it never brings anything good. It just puts much more pressure on people who don't deserve it, and they tend to do mistakes instead of enjoying and liking you and do maximum for you. It's always break somebody down, always, and that people then decide to sabotage, or to say, like, I will do only what I should do, nothing extra. So artists who are diva, it's never that good. Never. I don't like it. I think this is the wrong way how to behave people in general. It is fun and touching when the singers say thank you at the end of the songs, but last year the BBC chopped them off too quickly to get to the next act. Can the EBU stop this, or it's up to the host broadcaster? This is probably on the host broadcaster, and also timing. You must imagine that the broadcast is live. It's live. It's timed. It's slotted for 37, 40, maybe 50 countries, and some of them they have advertisements blocks, some of them not, and everything that must be counted. It's crazy mathematics, and the directors who are doing the live broadcast, they must run the time. So sometimes they just need to cut it off. It's not about being impolite to artists or something, but there is no time. It must be smooth or it would never work. It's a system. somebody, it's not a rude thing. You must understand that the timing in live broadcast, it's everything. So many people work on it, rehearse it, and then somebody saying 5 minutes thank you. Of course, it's not like this, but they cannot afford it. Some host is 1 minute longer because it's just happened. We must take the 1 minute from somewhere, and maybe it's from those 3-4 seconds every single time we cut thank you out. So don't take it as a rude thing or something. It's a normal television standard thing which we must respect, because we cannot be 4 hour long. It's set 3 hours 15 minutes. It should be 3 hours 15 minutes, and it's very hardcore. It's such a long and very complicated broadcast. So trust me, it's not intention not to listen to this. Okay, this is all from here. And let's go to Twitter. I have only one question in here. Where does the money from televoting go? I mean, they must be making ton of money just from televoting, but still individual countries have to pay horrendous amounts to be able to participate in the contest. Is it really that expensive to produce the shows? It is expensive to produce the shows in quality. A lot of money is just swallowed by the stage, because you need to pay the workers, you need to pay all the services around it, you need to pay all the electricities, you need to pay blah blah blah, architect, you need to pay people who will really create it, you need to pay material. Just imagine you're building a house. It's crazy, but imagine the stage. Stage is actually huge. You need to rent the space, also other costs, and then you need to pay all the people who are working on the show. And in huge shows there's like hundreds of people, and you need to pay them, and you need to pay them well, because you need them to work crazily good, and you need to work with the best people in the industry ideally, and they are costly. They know they can ask a lot of money, and they should ask. This is absolutely okay. So basically, create any show, it's expensive, it's costly, and it would never be cheap. You need the best show in the world, it costs money. So this is one thing. Televotes, it's individual from every country. Every country has their own system by SMS. It's based on, like, EBU has nothing to do with it. It's every country received the money from it, but it's split it. It's most, for example, in Czech Republic, it's split it between the broadcaster and the provider. So, but I don't know in which percentage. So broadcasters are receiving money from this. I'm not sure if it's a huge money. It depends on how much votes you receive. So also, actually, this is one of the reasons why countries should invest into promoting the show and talking nicely about the show, because then they can receive money from the televote. But this is another thing. It's not that crazy money, but to be honest, and each country has it differently. So when 1 million people are voting in one country and 10,000 in the other one, even their points are having the same value. It's completely different cost, but I wouldn't say it's that absolutely crazy. But really, each broadcaster had differently, and each provider had differently. I just recently was listening to some podcast where somebody was talking about the costs in Estonia. In my opinion, I think it was Estonia. The costs for one SMS, it's very high, maybe for taxes reason also, and so on. And in some other countries, it's less. Doesn't matter. It's individual for every single country. And I don't really believe you will receive such an amount that it will pay off. It's not. It depends really on the country, really. But we saw, for example, in Spain on Benidorm, not so many people really want to vote for high prices anymore. I think this is a dead concept at some point, and at some point, this should have be free voting based on registration somewhere else. I think this is the only valuable solution for the future, how to make the show even more objective, and to reinvent a little bit this completely, because voting by SMS is obsolete, it's costly, it's not fair. It's a dead concept in my opinion. It should be get rid of. It doesn't make sense. Yes, and just imagine that to produce the shows like this, it's really super expensive. Really, like super expensive. You need to rent a hall for a month. Just this, because the hall, it's a commercial subject who's receiving money for doing concerts and events and whatsoever, and now they cannot do it for the month, but they will ask you the money, so it's costly, but also from the other perspective, it gives a lot of people a job. Long term, they can then send it back to other invest it somewhere, whatever, or pay for other services. So for this, from this perspective, it's also worth it. It's also just costly for the broadcaster, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It wouldn't be ever cheaper, and cheaper we will try to get it. We will lose the quality, and this is not how you do the shows. You must invest. It's an investment. It's an investment for a good thing, and we must take it as it's really worth it. And that's the reason why each individual country should do maximum to bring the best possible thing, because they're investing, and if they don't want to lose that investment, they should take it as a much bigger, wider purpose than it's just a 3 minutes on stage, because in my opinion it's not. Also, thank you for the questions. This is all. I really hope you like the answers, or maybe it will create another questions. Don't be worried to write them me. I will try to do it at least once per month, question and answers. Maybe it will motivate more of you to ask and cast the questions on me in the comments below. And see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.